In a groundbreaking lunar mission that marks the first of its kind in half a century, Russia has initiated the evacuation of a village. This strategic move is in preparation for their upcoming lunar lander expedition. After numerous setbacks, Russia announced on Monday its intention to initiate the launch of a lunar lander later this week. This ambitious endeavour aims to mark their return to the moon, a feat that has not been accomplished in almost half a century. The Russian space agency, Roscosmos, has officially announced that the Lunar 25 lander is set to be launched in the early hours of Friday. In an attempt to revive and expand upon the Soviet Union's groundbreaking space program, Moscow is embarking on its first lunar mission since 1976. As President Vladimir Putin seeks to enhance space collaboration with China in the wake of deteriorating relations with the West due to Moscow's military actions in Ukraine, the launch marks the inaugural mission of Moscow's latest lunar endeavor. Roscosmos has announced that the lander is prepared for launch at the Vostochny Cosmodrome in the Russian Far East, as engineers have successfully constructed a Soyuz rocket. According to a statement from Roscosmos, the Lunar 25 mission will involve a series of crucial tasks. These tasks include the practice of achieving a gentle landing, the collection and examination of soil samples, as well as the undertaking of extensive scientific investigations for an extended period of time. Anticipated to land in the vicinity of the southern polar region of the Moon, the lander, weighing approximately 800 kilograms, 1,750 pounds, is a quadrupedal device. In contrast, historical lunar landings have predominantly taken place in close proximity to the lunar equator. After approximately 5 days from its launch, it is anticipated that the spacecraft will successfully reach the Moon. Following the deployment of troops by Putin to Ukraine in the previous year, the European Space Agency, ESA, made the decision to discontinue collaboration with Moscow concerning the forthcoming Lunar 25 launch, as well as any subsequent 26 and 27 missions. In spite of the withdrawal, Moscow has affirmed its intention to continue with its lunar endeavors and substitute the equipment provided by ESA with scientific instruments of Russian origin. During a speech at the Vostochny Cosmodrome in the previous year, Putin proudly proclaimed that in 1961, the Soviet Union successfully launched the first human into space, achieving this significant accomplishment despite facing comprehensive sanctions. Despite the ongoing Western sanctions in response to the conflict in Ukraine, the leader of the Kremlin maintained that Moscow would persist in advancing its lunar program. Putin expressed that their determination to progress is inspired by the aspirations of their predecessors, undeterred by any obstacles or external opposition. Describing the impending launch as precarious, the director of Russia's space agency Roscosmos, Yuri Borisov, emphasized the potential risks involved. This statement was made in June. During a meeting with Putin, he expressed the unprecedented nature of the mission, emphasizing the landing at the South Pole as an unparalleled feat that has never been accomplished before. It is estimated that the likelihood of accomplishing these missions successfully stands at approximately 70%. In anticipation of the upcoming launch on Friday, the authorities in the region of Khabarovsk, specifically in the village of Shakhtinsky, have announced the mandatory evacuation of residents. This precautionary measure is necessary due to the predicted trajectory of the rocket's boosters, which are projected to descend in the vicinity. In the year 1976, the final Soviet lunar mission, known as Lunar 24, successfully returned with samples of soil from the Moon's surface. In 1957, the Soviet Union made history by successfully launching Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite, into space. They followed this achievement by sending the first living creature, a dog named Laika, into orbit. Shortly after, they accomplished another milestone by sending the first human, Yuri Gagarin, into space. Finally, they made history once again by sending the first woman, Valentina Tereshkova, into space. In contrast to the Soviet era, present-day Russia has encountered difficulties in terms of innovation, and its space sector is currently engaged in a battle to secure government funding. This challenge arises as the Kremlin places a higher emphasis on military expenditures. The space agency of Russia continues to depend on technology that was designed during the Soviet era. It has encountered various obstacles, such as corruption scandals and unsuccessful rocket launches. Moscow is finding itself increasingly outpaced in the international space race, encountering formidable competition from the United States, China, and India. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.